divide 4x to the power of 3 plus 3x minus 8 by x plus 2. You notice that x to the power of 2 is missing here. So when I write this as long division, I can insert 0x to the power of 2 here, just to remind me that x to the power of 2 is missing. So write the polynomials in descending order of the powers of the variables. Add a term with 0 coefficient as a placeholder for the missing x to the power of 2. So the next step is to ask yourself, what times x give me this first term? Okay, those of you who are following me live, what is that? What times x give me 4x to the power of 3? 4x to the power of 2. So now I need to multiply this by x plus 2. Okay, so I'm going to write it down here. What I'm doing really is I'm multiplying this number by x plus 2. You can do all this in your head, but for the first time I write it down so make sure we clearly see what we're doing. So if I multiply this by both of these terms, I record it down here. What do I get? 4x to the power of 3 plus 8x to the power of 2. Okay, now I have to find the remainder. To find the remainder, I need to subtract these two rows. To subtract, instead we add. To subtract, we add. And then we change the sign of the second row into its opposite sign. Now we look at those two rows with a new sign. 4x cubed minus 4x cubed, that adds up to 0. Now here I get minus 8x to the power of 2. Just copy the rest of the terms. This would be my remainder so far. If you understand up to this point, the rest is just keep repeating the same process. Next question is, what times x give me minus x squared? What is it? Would be minus 8x. If I distribute minus 8x with x plus 2, record it down here, I would get minus 8x to the power of 2 minus 16x. Once again, I need to find the remainder. To subtract, what do I need to do? Change the sign and add them instead. Change the sign and we say we're going to add. Now, once again, these two add up to 0. What would be a remainder now? 19. The remainder would be 19x minus 8. All right. What times x give me 19x? Plus 19. Very good. Plus 19. If I distribute that 19 by x plus 2 and record it down there, what do I get here? 19x plus 38. 38? Okay, so what do we do next? We need to subtract, right? We subtract, change the subtraction to addition. So this would become minus, this was plus originally. All right, so what's the remainder? 30. Both are negative, right? Minus 38 minus 8 would be minus 46. Be careful with the sign. All right, the last step is, what times x plus 2 give me this remainder? So let's write it like this. What times x plus 2 over 1 give me the quotient minus 46 over 1. So this must be a fraction. The bottom of the fraction, I have to put x plus 2, the quotient, so it reduces, and the top of the fraction I get minus 46. So when you see a fraction at the end, that's all it means, that you have a remainder. But the number at the top of the fraction is your remainder. Because if I multiply this, now I get minus 46, and the remainder appears to be 0. But that's all it means, that we have a remainder here if you see a fraction. So take a look at the solution once again here. We covered all the steps, and we got a remainder of minus 46. And at the end, we get minus 46 over x plus 2. That's all it means, that the remainder is 46. See if you can do this on your own. We're going to divide 4m to the power 4 minus 23m to the power 3 plus 16m squared minus 4m minus 1. We're going to divide it by m squared minus 5m. You remember, the first step is to write it in descending order. And here we're missing a constant, so we're going to insert 0 here. Everything else here is in order. So the first step is to say, what times m to the power of 2 give you 4m to the power of 4? So for those of you watching this later, it's a good idea to pause the session now and see if you can do this on your own, and then run the session. Okay, the first step is to ask yourself, what times m squared give me 4m to the power of 4? Okay, 4m to the power of 2. Very good, right? That's the first step. Now what we need to do is multiply this 4m to the power of 2 by each of these terms and record it down here. So 4m to the power of 2 give me 4m to the power of 4. That's exactly what I wanted here. And then I have to multiply 4m to the power of 2 times minus 5m. They give me minus 20m to the power of 3. So let's reveal the solution here. So this is what you have done so far. Now I need to find a remainder. Now remember, we are going to subtract. This is what's addition here. So you need to subtract to find a remainder. Instead of subtracting, I'm going to change this to addition and change the sign of this to its opposite sign. Then the remainder, in this case 4m to the power 4 minus 4m to the power 4, that would be add up to 0. So what would be my remainder, anyone? I have minus 23m to the power 3 plus 20m to the power 3. What would be the remainder? Negative 3. Very good. So the remainder is negative 3m to the power 3. And then I'm going to bring down the next one down. I'm going to bring this down. And that would be my remainder. I could write the rest of these down if I wanted to. This would be my remainder. So the next step would be very similar to what we did. The question is, what times m squared give me minus 3m cubed? Can somebody tell me what that is? Would be negative, right? You have a negative here. The signs are very important. Would be negative 3m. Very good. So it would be negative 3m. Everybody see what we're doing so far? I need to distribute this negative 3m here by 3m squared minus 5m plus 0. So if I multiply minus 3m times m squared, what do I get? Negative 3m cubed. If I multiply this by the next term, that'll give me plus 15m squared. So let's take a look at the next step. Here we have it. So now we need to subtract. In order to subtract, we said we're going to change the subtraction to addition. By doing that, we need to change the sign of the second row into its opposite sign. So once again, minus 3m cubed plus 3m cubed, that adds up to 0. plus 16m squared plus 15m squared. That adds up to what? That adds up to only 1, right? Plus 16 minus 15 plus minus 15, that give you plus 1 or just m squared. And I'm going to bring the next one down. I could write the next one down here if I wanted to. All right, the next step is what times m squared give me m squared? M squared give me m squared? 1 plus 1. 1 times m squared would be m squared. If I multiply 1, I would get m squared minus 5m. Now I need to find the remainder again. So I need to subtract. This is plus. Change the subtraction to addition. Here it becomes minus. This becomes plus. So the remainder, m squared adds up to 0. So the remainder would be minus 4m plus 5m. That would be the same as just m minus 1. So that's your remainder. So if I were going to write this last step, I would say what times this quotient would give me this remainder. Must be a fraction. At the top of the fraction, I'm going to write the remainder, m minus 1. At the bottom of the fraction, quotient we have here. If I multiply this fraction by the quotient, I would get the remainder. So if we're going to continue with this, this would really m minus 1. Change sign. Now we get a remainder of 0 if I were going to write this last term. So when you see a fraction at the end, that's all it means is you have a remainder, and the remainder would be what you have at the top of the fraction, which is m minus 1.